Hello everybody, my name is Cade. I wholesale land for a living and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I had my real estate license and why I chose to go into land full time. Keep in mind, I was selling houses as a residential agent and I chose to just basically burn the ships and go into land full time. And here's why that isn't crazy. I'm gonna go over 5 exact reasons to share with you as to why that isn't crazy and why I think I made the better decision. Reason number 1, this, to be honest, is probably my personal favorite reason above the rest of them, is that as a realtor, you're working with clients who are making an emotional decision. So when we think of business and you are selling B to C, essentially business to consumer, we are working with the end day consumer, the end user consumer when we're working as a realtor. With that said, I was doing real estate for 4 years full time, and I just found that to be true for pretty much every client. When they go to make a purchase or a selling decision, oftentimes they are making an emotional one. They don't necessarily have to. Their well-being doesn't change on whether or not they do or do not make the decision. So that could lead to a problem if you as an agent are putting all your time and energy into this client who may or may not one day choose to use your service. One of the things I learned as a salesperson in real estate is that there are 4 different personalities typically when you are selling something to someone. I found myself to be a driver more or less, so I make decisions fairly quickly and I don't think through things a lot of the time. I just make decisions very fast, which can be a problem, but when as a salesperson, if I'm trying to sell people and that is my mentality going into every single conversation, I can find it very difficult to be patient and work with the consumer because my brain wants to just go. So ultimately, when I learned that, I figured, it's probably best that I find something else. And that leads us into reason number 2. Reason number 2 is that builders whom I work with make logical decisions. So I sell land primarily to builders. And builders, you can think of, instead of working with clients from a residential sales perspective, you could think of working with builders as like a B2B. So instead of working with the consumer, B2C, this is B2B. Essentially, builders are their own business. So if you can bring them lots that fit what they need, there's gonna be no emotion behind their decision making. It's just basic math. And if the lot makes sense for them, they're gonna purchase the lot. In addition to this, based on my last comment, I've also found that a lot of builders are drivers like me. So they make decisions very fast, they don't have time to waste, and they're not emotional. So it kind of fits right in my personality when it comes to selling. I just love working with builders over the house hunting consumer. Reason number 3 is that when wholesaling land to these builders, you don't work with a brokerage. So as an agent, you have a license hanging under a brokerage, usually known as like a managing broker, and you have to actually pay splits and commissions to your managing broker every single house that you sell. Now, typically, the more experienced you are as a realtor, the longer you've been a realtor, and depending on your brokerage, the splits may not be that much, the fees may not be that much. However, if you're a newer agent, the fees could be as much as to 25 to 30%, even up to 50% depending per house that you sell. So for instance, if you get a $10,000 commission check to your managing broker when you've sold a home, you're really only making $5,000. Then you take tithe, taxes, and operating expenses. After that, you're not making that much money. When wholesaling lands, the assignment fees that I charge to my builder clients is straight net to me. So outside, again, of like taxes, tithe, and operating expenses, it all comes into my pocket. I don't have to split a fee with any other managing party or person. It's just completely net to me. Also, when it comes to making money as a realtor, typically the market average for a commission is 3%. So if I go to sell a house, chances are I'm not making any more than gross 3% commission of whatever that house sells for. Now you may argue, well, you can go sell higher dollar homes, therefore 3% of $1 million is much better than 3% of 300,000. Well, that's fair. However, when wholesaling lands, there is no limit to the amount of the assignment fee that you can charge to a builder, developer, or investor. So for example, me personally, I've been blessed to come across some big deals, upwards of 6 figures for one assignment fee. I've also seen and heard stories of people in the luxury development market who are wholesaling land. They've made literally up to $900,000, even upwards of $1 million for one assignment fee. So that's reason number 3 why I just love it. There's no limit to the amount of income that you can make. Reason number 4 that it makes sense is because when you are selling houses as a realtor, I kind of made a mention of this earlier, you are working with a consumer. You are putting a ton of time, a ton of energy into helping this person solve the problem they want to solve. But sometimes those problems change and they don't need any more solving. So then you get kicked out from under the rug and your service means nothing to this person anymore. They basically just change their mind. So they don't even need your service anymore. And that's happened if you're a realtor and you're watching however many times. I mean, it happens all the time. And so no matter how much due diligence you do with a client, particularly when it comes to residential sales, there's always that option that they can just back out and you just wasted a ton of time for nothing. When it comes to wholesaling land, the reason I love it is because you as the wholesaler actually control the deal. Once you have that contract with the seller, you actually control the deal. So if that seller tries to back out for any sort of reason, unless it's mutually agreed upon, you actually have legal right to sue them because they signed a legally binding contract. I'm not saying that you would want to or ever have to, but that's your right if you wanted to do that. As a realtor, you can't really do that. That would look terrible on your business. But as a wholesaler, okay, you actually have that right. So you control the deal and you don't have to play these games with, as you would with a consumer where they're back and forth all of the time. So when you control the deal, wholesaling land, okay, you basically have first dibs on what happens with that contract, who you send it to, who you sell it to, and all of the above. So it's just a much better option when you get to actually control your deal flow and who you're working with, opposed to realtors. Again, most of them are just, jumping at every opportunity to make $1 because it's extremely competitive, which is fair. So that's why I like reason number 4. You actually get to control the deal when wholesaling land. And reason number 5 that it makes sense to jump into land wholesaling is that honestly, and I can say this honestly because I am a realtor, I am licensed, I firmly believe that you honestly just create more value in the marketplace with wholesaling land in particular, but even wholesaling in general. Keep in mind, when we are wholesaling, we are getting in touch with people that most people can't get a hold of. We are helping them put cash in their pocket in as little as 30 days, if not sooner. And keep in mind, these sellers who are selling these pieces of land, a lot of them don't even know how to sell it if they do. A lot of them don't even want to work with realtors. And I'm having conversations with these sellers. This is fact. A lot of them don't want to work with realtors. They don't know how to sell it, even if they did. They get lowball offers from other wholesalers all the time. If you're good at what you do, and what I try to do is get them a very, very fair top of the market offer that builders are paying. And so you're bringing a tremendous value to these people. You're getting, basically think of it like this. You're going throughout your day, you have this piece of land you inherited back in, the boondocks of nowhere, and you get a call or a letter or an email or a text, and it says, hey, I want to buy your land. We'll close in 30 days. We'll cover all costs. And, let me know if you want to move forward. Here you are. You have no idea, you know nothing about this piece of land. Okay. It's in the boondocks. You just inherited it from a dead uncle 30 years ago. You have no idea what it's worth and you don't care. Simply, you don't care. And so what you take the offer, you click yes, you sign one email, and then in 30 days, you get a check for 20 grand or 30 grand or however much, right? That's tremendous value, tremendous value. Now, think of it from the builder's perspective. This builder is working day and night, managing contractors. They're trying to finish projects and put up these houses. They're trying to get houses sold, right? And all day, they're just working, trying to troubleshoot and figure out problems. Well, When that house sells, they are frantic for more lots because they've been so busy building the actual house, they haven't had the time to actually find the land. So when you text them on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, hey, this is a perfect lot that fits what you need, it has the utilities, the price that you want, we just need to close in 30 days, you're actually creating their inventory for them. You are literally creating their inventory for them. So you are creating a tremendous value for these builders, you're creating a tremendous value for these sellers, and it's a beautiful business model. That's why I love it. That's why I decided to make the switch. We're providing such value for both sellers and builders. Time and time again, when we've closed deals, builders are asking me for more lots. Sellers are letting me know of other lots they've sold. They loved working with me. And so again, I think you create a tremendous value in the marketplace. And I think, as I've said in a previous video, if you are creating value in the marketplace, in any marketplace in the United States of America, you're probably gonna make good money because, again, you create value. So you are paid contingent upon the value that you bring to the market. So those are my 5 reasons why I made the switch into lands. If you made it this far, thank you. And please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel for more videos, as I'm gonna be trying to be posting a ton and growing the community with Jackson and Carson, who actually taught me how to do this. So if you guys are interested in talking or joining that community, all of the link is in the description below. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.